Nova? Is everything okay?
I don't feel so good.
Nova!
And just like that, I was awake again.
Run away out of time, find a place where I can never hide. I let it run, change or even shine. Let it burn, I'll never be coming back. 'Cause I'm losing my mind. 'Cause I'm losing my mind.
You awake with a start, heart pounding, head throbbing, ears ringing, vision blinded by a really bright light. God dang it, it's the third time this has happened out. I just realized it. Ouch. You'd been unconscious for what felt like an eternity, lost in a massive abyss of darkness within the world of REM, until your eyes finally jolted open. For a moment you stay in this state, confused and disoriented. Where were you? What was happening? Why were you in so much pain? Are you back in the world from before, or are you in your world? You tried to sit up, but a sharp pain throbbed in your head, causing you to wince, though oddly enough, it was slowly fading, like a heavy fog lifting from your mind, revealing the fragments of memory that were still shrouded in mist. The memories before you flooding back in an instant, though hazy at best. My head. The moment the throbbing in your head got significantly worse, you began to notice that at the same time, it began to fade away. It was strange, yet welcoming. The throbbing faded, the bright light faded, and eventually so did everything else that bothered you. Once it was finally gone, you attempted to push yourself upright. You began to hear the soft melodic chanting, weaving its way through the silence. The sweet sound wrapped around you, comforting and surreal. It felt as if the melody itself was soothing the pain in your head. And it actually was? Blinking, you focused your gaze on the figure in front of you. The once green blob that was there was replaced by her. It was Felice, but this time she was not the same. The familiar contours of her face were framed by a halo of shimmery, ethereal light. Though the scene was strangely welcoming, a rush of confusion and fear coursed through you. Felice? After a moment's time, all was clear now. You waited. Felice's chanting soon came to an end, and then she opened her eyes and saw you. You didn't think this was Felice at first. You weren't aware that she could use magic, but when she spoke, it became increasingly clear that it was her. The moment she saw you, her eyes lit up with happiness. Nova! You're awake! Welcome back! You sit there, still taken back by what you've seen, questions swirling around in your mind as you do. Felice? Where am I? What happened? She gives you a small smile. I'm so glad you're alright. You passed out at the gates, Felice began. The guards were shocked, but thankfully you had me as an assistant healer there, she explained. But don't worry, you're safe now. You're safe inside of Aerowyn, at Aerowyn's infirmary. Aerowyn's infirmary? They let me through? But I thought I needed an ID to enter. Concerned and worried washed over you in waves, worried that you might be in trouble for not having anything to keep you in the city. Felice tried to reassure you that everything was fine. Well, they can't do that when you're passed out now, could they? She says. Oh. Right. With that in mind, you glanced down and realized that you were bandaged up. The sensation of bandages on your arm and stomach sent a wave of relief washing over you. Much like Felice noted, you realized you were indeed safe now. Then you noticed the room you're in, a rustic room decorated with hanging herbs and other things that you couldn't quite make out. The last thing you noticed in the room was a window on one of the walls. You looked out and noticed it was daytime. You turn to Felice, acknowledging her again. How long was I out for? About an hour's worth of time. So I'm surprised it wasn't any longer, given how you fell. Which reminds me, how are you feeling, Nova? You take a moment to absorb her question, then begin to assess yourself. How are you feeling? That's the question, isn't it? Well, for one, you still felt confused by all the things that were happening. Traveling between your realm and whatever realm this is. Then, the next you were here. This strange world called REM. You're still here. But when you fell back asleep, you were here again. Yeah, you were confused to all heck. But besides what you felt, the more important question you assume Felice was talking about was if you felt pain or not. Oddly enough, you didn't. Not anymore, at least. I'm better now, I guess. I didn't know you had magic. How did you do it? Felice giggled. A magician never tells her secrets, she says. Yes, I do healing magic. However, my favorite thing is working with herbs. The traditional way, she explains. Huh. Suddenly, Felice was more of an intricate person than you thought. You thought she was just a sweet, simple girl. Then again, you just met her. You have yet to know more of who she is. Speaking of knowing a person, there was one other person you didn't know where he was. His presence was missing. Where's Ruth? Felice finished tidying up, then turned back to face you. I am not certain, but he said he would be back. He went to take care of some business matters while you were unconscious. Business matters. The more you think about it, the question, the more you realized you didn't know Ruth either. There were still so many things you had to ask him. Thinking about them made you feel dizzy, so you tried to suppress them. For now, me and Dr. Sullivan have been taking care of you. Doctor who? Then, as if summoned, a tall older man with black hair and glasses enters the room. Felice, did you perform the healing magic like I asked you? He spoke as he was looking at his papers, moving with a calm, measured gait. You and Felice turn your attention to him. As you do, your eyes meet his. Yes, sir. She's awake now. Ah, I see, the man says, studying you with a professional gaze. Welcome back to consciousness, Nova. I'm Dr. Sullivan, and it's a pleasure to finally meet you. How are you feeling? Again with that question, you tried to examine yourself, trying to find any pain that you may have had left. But once again, there was nothing. Oh, hello. It's nice to meet you too. I am better now thanks to Felice. Excellent. I'm glad you're doing alright. To be frank, you had Felice and the guards a bit worried there for a second. The doc points out. They were confused as to why you passed out when all they did was ask for your ID. Right. Your ID. Going back to that moment, you can't help but feel embarrassed when thinking about it. Why did you have to pass out right then and there? Couldn't your body have waited a little bit longer? I thought they would throw me in jail if I didn't have it. For a moment, the room fell silent. Then, after exchanging some glances with each other, Dr. Sullivan and Felice began to laugh. You watched confused as to why they were laughing. Isn't it legal to trespass into a city without formal documents? You didn't quite understand what was funny here. Jail? You think Aerowyn would throw you in jail for that? Dr. Sullivan chuckles. No, they wouldn't throw you in jail. Lucky for you, this sort of thing happens frequently. You will find that Aerowyn is more peaceful and welcoming than you think, he explains. Oh. Well, that's good to know, I guess. Thank goodness. The last thing you needed was being thrown in jail on your record here in this new world. Though I'm surprised that you weren't passed out for longer. I'm glad you're recovering. Why is that? Police and Dr. Sullivan take a glance at each other, then look back at you. Nova, the situation with your wings, was that recent? Police asks. The situation with your wings? What does that have to do with... Oh. Wait. Do they mean when you tried to stop the ritual? If by recent you mean almost several hours ago, then... Yes? I see. That would explain why Felice felt the presence of dark magic. Tainted magic is still around you, Nova. Though, thankfully, it's only very faint. Dr. Sullivan explains. You look at Felice, who seemed to be concerned for you. I'm alright, I swear. I'm not in pain anymore. As for my wings, I'm not quite sure what you mean by... But they don't hurt either. That's good. Though, Nova, I do suggest that because of your situation, you stay away from magic for now until your body gets used to it. Certain magics can be dangerous for angels, Nova. Dark magic can be especially lethal. Right. You remember what Ruth said before. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better now, Nova. Until Ruth returns, I'd rather have you rest a little bit longer, just in case. I have to go take care of another patient for the time being. I'll be back when Ruth returns. Please rest for the meantime. Okay, I'll try. With that, the doctor takes his leave, leaving only you and Felice behind. For a second, you think back to Ruth and how he didn't want to tell the story of what happened with the both of you earlier. You wonder if, now that they know you recently became in contact with dark magic, whether he would be angry. Then again, why should you care so much about it? While you thought for a moment, Felice, however, begins to gather her things before she left. As well, you decided to bring it up. Felice, you're not going to tell Ruth about the dark magic thing, are you? Felice stopped and looked at you. He already filled us in on what happened. The possible reasons as to why you passed out. Rest assured, no one is in trouble for now, Nova. I need water. Uno momento. Okay. I must go help the doc with another patient. A knight had a really bad run-in with a monster outside not too long ago. Rest well, Nova. With that, Felice left you alone in the corner of the room. Her footsteps disappeared into the distance. As usual, your head was still swarming with questions. You are really getting tired of the constant questions, though. Thank you for the water. Hydrate, chat. Now you find yourself alone with no one to talk to. No one but the questions that run in your mind. You try to rest, closing your eyes, after a few moments of being by yourself. But you couldn't keep your eyes closed for more than 5 minutes without thinking about another question. You groan in annoyance. Ugh. Now what? How am I feeling? I mean, I feel fine. My arm is bandaged up, so I can't tell what it's doing, how it's doing. There's no dizziness. This is bizarre. You know, I never thought magic existed before, chat. Stars. This is strange. This is strange. The city. Right! We're in the kingdom now. You're not sure how long it's been, but you've been sitting in the same bed for what seems like an eternity now. You are sitting upright in bed now, bored out of your mind. You were certain that by rest, Felice and Dr. Sullivan meant that you slept a bit more. But you tried, and weren't successful at all. Your mind ran like 1,000,000 miles per second, lost in the abyss of questions. You took note of all that's been going on. Especially now that you're apparently world hopping? Is that even the correct term for it? Another question to add to my list. You sat there and messed with the blankets that was once covering you. The downside of this world is that you have no technology to constantly check. You had only the sights of the room to look at. And you did look at it. You looked at it 1,000,000 times, studying every square inch of the room. The good news, you were healed. You felt perfectly fine. No more pain in sight. The bad news? Well, you were eager to leave now. Ruth still hadn't returned, and you wondered if he ever will. He seems like the kind of guy who wouldn't return the favor after all. All he ever did was show you discontent. Ugh, I'm so bored. You suppose that only time will tell if he will return for you in the first place. Besides, even if you were to be let out by yourself, you were certain that you'd get lost. From what you could tell by looking out of the singular window in the room, this kingdom was big. You could see the rooftops of what you suppose were the houses, as well as probably shops. The architecture that you spotted seemed as though this place was something out of a fantasy novel. Wait, is this one of those isekai novels that you were reading? You know, those stories where the protagonist... Yeah, you know. It definitely feels like it. However, you can't recall any story that you've read that has a kingdom named Aerowyn. This certainly is not one of those novels. At least so you think. Anyways, you've been staring out at the window for a while now, watching as the sun still rose in the sky and birds flew by. You so desperately wanted to get out of this room and explore. You wondered if Felice or Dr. Sullivan would ever come back. You wondered if anyone was nearby at all. You wondered if by chance you could sneak out a glance out the window and get more of a look of the kingdom in the outside world. It doesn't hurt to try, right? Hello? Is anyone there? After calling out, you waited to see if someone would answer. Seconds turned into minutes. Minutes melted into what seemed like forever. There was no answer. You frowned. Where did everyone go? You tried to be patient and waited a little longer. However, enough was enough. You couldn't take it anymore. You needed to get up and move. You decided to get out of bed and take your chances. Just one little peek out the window wouldn't hurt, right? Skedaddle! Ah! Whoa. Whoa. That's a big tree. Those buildings look cool. What the heck? You glance out the window. For the first time ever, you get to see the outside world of the Brewery. Outside the building, you can see the bustling streets of the city. People roamed about, kids playing in the streets. You can see the shops and houses clearly as well as other interesting buildings that may have caught your eye. Whoa, this kingdom looks amazing. Man, now I really want to get out. You stood there for a moment, taking in the view of the kingdom. Then too, this definitely felt like a dream, but it was not. Then suddenly a voice broke this peaceful scene. Nova? As the person spoke from behind you, you jolted in surprise. Crap, you've been spotted. You're out of bed when your instructions are to rest What a crime. The voice seemed familiar to you. Was that who you thought it was? You turn around, then you see who it is. It was him. It was Ruth. Finally, you're awake. Oh, it's you. Where have you been? Ruth rolled his eyes, then crossed his arms over his chest. I went to take care of some business matters that are none of your concern, he explained. Shouldn't you be resting? Does it look like I need rest? Ruth had been nothing but rude to you all day. Perhaps it was time for you to return the favor. Ruth frowns. Then Dr. Sullivan returned, followed by Felice. Well, someone looks eager to get out of here now. How are you feeling, Nova? 100%. I think I'm ready to leave now, actually. Dr. Sullivan looks over at Felice. That's definitely an improvement, don't you say, Felice? Yes, it really is. I'm glad. Well, now that you are here, Ruth, there is something that we must warn you about. Regarding Nova's situation, I do advise that she stays away from any sort of magic for the time being. One wrong move and it could be lethal if she gets involved with it. Right. Well, I did try to warn her before. I doubt she'll listen to me again, but I'll try my best. You let out a nervous laugh. Guilty as charged. Second thing. This more goes towards you, Nova. Please come and visit again within 2 weeks' time so that we can do a follow-up. Turning fallen is not something you should take lightly. You nod, in slight understanding, though you're not quite sure what he means by you turning fallen. It does make you sad that you won't be able to touch magic. You just got into this world and you're being forbidden from things. What tragic luck. One nagging thought comes to your mind. Something comes after an appointment, right? Don't you have to pay for this type of stuff? Worry tugged at you as you realized you don't have any money to give him, so to cover your basis. You asked him the question. I need to pay for this? You asked hesitantly, unsure of what to expect. Ruth interjected. I'll cover the expense. Dr. Sullivan raised his hand to halt Ruth's offer. No need for that, Sullivan says, with a friendly smile. What? Are you sure? Yes, consider it a goodwill gesture for now, as long as you come back for your next appointment. You couldn't help but smile gratefully at the doctor's generosity. Thank you, Doc. Don't mention it. The doc turns to Felice. Felice? You glance over at Felice, who gives you a small smile. Then she steps up to you. In her hands, you notice your cloak that you had before. She hands you your things. You remember that because of the dangers you faced earlier in the burning village and the tape monsters, you recalled that your cloak had a few tears and scars. However, when you grabbed the cloak, you noticed it had been patched up. My cloak. While you were out cold, I tried my best to fix it back up for you. I hope this suits you better now. Felice says. You smile at her. Thank you, Felice. I didn't realize it was messed up. You're welcome. But I would like to have a word with you before you go. Dr. Sullivan and Ruth stand idle. Then, after understanding the cue, Ruth decided it was best to leave. I'll meet you outside. Dr. Sullivan granted his final approval. If you're all good here, I will take my leave. Best of luck on your adventures, Nova. I'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Take care. As you watch Dr. Sullivan and Ruth leave the infirmary, you felt a wave of hope and gratitude wash over you. Felice stayed behind and you acknowledged her. What is it, Felice? Okay. Nova, regarding Ruth, how did you meet him? He seems rather rude, doesn't he? Well, she wasn't wrong. Yes, Ruth was a word person, but You couldn't help but give him the benefit of the doubt, as you were certain that if he wanted to, he could have left you on your own a long time ago. It's a long story, honestly, and complicated. Why do you ask? I want to warn you, please be careful with mages like him. Unity may have her tricks, but they have a knack for doing worse. Sometimes they're not who they seem. Unity? Perhaps I can talk to you about her another time. And we get to know each other more when you come and visit again. Come on, I'll walk you out. Okay. Unity? Well, that's strange. Who is that? Finally, I'm out of here. Okay. Thank you, Felice. Oh, before I forget. After the guards left earlier, the guards asked me to let you know that you'll need to fill out some paperwork at the registrar office. Paperwork? Yes. If you'd like, I could show you both there. Sure? No need. I know this city well. I will handle it from here. Come on, Nova. We have things to take care of. What? Since when? Wait! Felice! Thank you. It's okay, Nova. No need. It's the least I could do since you saved me from the wolves after all. In any case, you know where to find me if things go awry, and Ruth isn't much help. Thank you. I'll be back soon. Bye. Okay. Okay. Oh, there he is. Hello? That was a little rude. I didn't mean to pull out my sword. Guards, please don't apprehend me. I didn't know Ruth was from here. Or he knew this place. Okay. Walking alongside Ruth, you realized that people in the streets were casting glances your way. Their hushed whispers making you increasingly self-conscious. You sought to understand the cause of their fascination. You tried to understand the sudden surge of self-doubt that ebbed through inside you as you walk alongside of Ruth, attempting to further avoid attention. Oh, hold on. Leading you to walk alongside Ruth in an attempt to avoid their further attention. Desperate to avert your mind from their persistent gazes, you initiate a conversation with Ruth. You remember how Ruth reacted to Felice. He was cold and rude, as usual. Frustration simmered within you as you questioned his actions from earlier, and you sought to ask him why. Oh, my game froze. You know, that was pretty rude of you back there. Felice was only trying to help, so maybe you should, you know, go back and apologize. Don't you ever think about anyone else but yourself? Anyone else but yourself? No, I don't, because I don't have time to think about others, especially people like them. I've got other things on my plate anyhow. But she was just being a kind person. You should probably take notes from her, actually. We're here. Okay. Hello? Well, Ruth leads you through the door of a building you stood in front of. As you enter, a woman dressed in white and red sat behind a polished desk. At first, she didn't notice you. Instead, your gaze was on her paperwork that sat neatly on the surface. Then, when your footsteps hit the floor of the room, your eyes quickly meet. When she spots you, for a moment, even though she gave you a kind smile, you couldn't help but feel intimidated. Hello, welcome to Rototo's registry. My name is Hera. How can I help you today? As you finally stand in front of her alongside Ruth, your thoughts scatter, and for a moment you find yourself speechless. You can't help but stammer. Hello? Why were you here again? You try to recall the moments leading up to your arrival, but your mind draws blank. You glance around the room, searching for Ruth, who is standing beside you. Are you looking to gain citizenship to Aerowyn, or are you just visiting? Ruth answers Hera. This one is in need of proper paperwork to become a resident at Aerowyn. Oh, right. The paperwork that Felice mentioned. A resident? Do you confirm this? Hera turns to face you. You nod quickly and hesitantly. Hera continues. Very well then. If that's the case, there's just a bit of paperwork that I need you to sign. First and foremost, where did you live beforehand? Hera readies herself, grabbing her quill and a packet of paper that sat before her. When she mentions your previous residence, you can't help but feel your anxiety spike again. I'm sorry, what? What did she mean by that? Hera speaks again. What was your previous residence here in REM? You begin to panic inwardly. As you do, you try to look for Ruth's support, but find him sitting in the waiting area, engrossed in a book and quill, away from you. Hera's question was most frightening, as you didn't know how to answer the question. You didn't live anywhere in this world. For all you know, you just fell from the sky. Well, you see, I don't remember, you say, your voice quivering. Hera raises an eyebrow, pressing for an answer. You don't remember. That's an odd answer. You did come from another place in REM, right? Didn't you? I noticed your wings. Did you come from the Aether? You have no idea how to answer her. Her questions overwhelm you a bit. Should you reveal that you fell from the sky, or will it lead to trouble? Hello? At this moment, you were torn in your thoughts, torn between the idea of telling her the situation, and torn between the idea of not telling her. If you told her, what would happen to you? Well, you see... It's okay. You can tell me. I'm not from this world. I fell from the sky. You quickly cover your mouth, realizing you've spoken out of turn. Hera, initially confused, is now shocked by your sudden outburst. The room falls silent, and you feel everyone's eyes on you. You can't help but cringe at the attention you've drawn. After a moment, Hera seems to regain her composure. You gulp in nervousness. Ah, I see. That makes sense as to why you were reluctant to tell me. I can't say that I'm surprised, though. We've had a few people come to us lately who've said that they fell from the sky. You could have just said that from the get-go. Did your friend know about this? Wait. Did you hear that correctly? Others fell from the sky? Shocked, you glance at Ruth, wondering if he's heard this conversation. To your dismay, however, he was gone. Shaking your head, you ask tentatively. Wait, what? Really? So you're not going to send the guards after me? Hera pulls out a clipboard with a list, then stops to answer your question. The guards Heavens no. That's only if you committed some sort of crime. The guards here should already be aware of the travelers of late. We are not entirely sure of why it's happening, but we suspect it has something to do with the awakening that's going on. Don't worry. You're safe here. Just like that, your worries dissipated. Now, what's your name? Hera asks, pen poised. For a moment, you sit there, trying to process what just occurred. But then you answered. The awakening. Oh, my name is Nova. Hera writes down your name and then surprises you with more good news. Nova? That's a pretty name. Well, Nova, you're in luck. As mentioned by my boss, travelers who fallen from the sky are given a special pass to Aerowyn. No residence permits required unless you truly want one or wish to get a permanent place to stay here at Aerowyn. You're shocked by how easy this process has been. Really? Yes. If you need anything else, however, feel free to visit the registrar at any time. Welcome to Aerowyn, Nova. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go tell my boss to tell them the news of another fallen traveler who has found their way to our city. Safe travels. Then with that, Hera leaves, leaving you baffled. Thank you? Whoa, that was too easy. Was that even right? You recall in your world that it was super complicated to get any sort of government paperwork done. In some cases, you had to wait 3 months for anything to be processed. What did she mean by other travelers? You weren't the only one that was dealing with this? You wanted to call her out, stop her from leaving, and ask her these things, but you realized that maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Maybe you could just come back a bit later when you're not swarmed with all this confusion. Maybe you should go find Ruth for now and check in with him. You wondered if he heard everything you just talked about with Hera. Whoa. Okay. Stars? Astronauts? What the heck? The shadows are not really doing you favor with this shaders. I'm going to take that as a yes. You didn't perhaps hear what I said to Hera, did you? Arky! We got a raid! Thank you for the raid, Arky! Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Welcome in, Arky and Arky chat. We could talk about that issue later. For now, we need to head into town. I need to get some supplies before the shops close. Hey! Ruth! You're not still upset with me, are you? Especially with the thing from earlier? I really am sorry I didn't say anything sooner. It's just a lot to take in. Everything from falling from the sky and just being here. Just really a lot. Can we please talk? Alright, look, Nova. I don't think talking about your situation is a good idea out here. You never know who may be listening out on these streets. But... okay, fine. You gotta promise me that we're gonna talk about it. Where's this place? It's right here. Oh, that's convenient. Come on, man. I really want to look at the city. Oh. I kind of embarrassed myself last time. You and Ruth walk up to the front desk of the inn. The lady of the front counter desk greets you. Hello, welcome to Wayfinder's Rest. My name is Juno. How can I help you? You're not sure what to do, so you stand by and let Ruth do the talking. We need a place to rest, preferably with 2 separate rooms if you have any. You stand awkwardly, looking around the room, and taking in the lively sights of the inn. 2 rooms? I'm sorry, but unfortunately most of our rooms have been taken up. We only have 1 left, with 2 beds. Is that okay with you? Ruth lets out a tiresome sigh. Of course. We'll take whatever you have. Alright. How many nights will you be staying? Just enough for 2 days. Very well then. That'll be 60 copper coins. Ruth pulls out a small pouch of coins, then hands it to him. Just how many things can this guy hold in his pockets? Earlier he had a water canteen, then a compass. Now he has money. You snap out of your thoughts and resume back to the conversation at hand. As you wait for her, you spot a pile of newspaper on the desk. You read the headline when it says, "The Awakening." You briefly scan the paper, but before you can make out anything, Ruth finishes counting and putting away the change. You had just the right amount. I will lead you to your room then. Please follow me. Then with that, you followed Juno to the innkeep. Okay. We'll follow Juno. I'm letting you go first. I'm still really shy from what happened earlier. Thank you. Whoa. It's an actual room. With a bed! Oh my god, I'm lagging so hard right now. I'm so sorry, chat. There's a freaking bed. I'm so excited to sleep. Kind of. I actually want to go outside, but I can't. Oh. Alright. Listen up. Yes? We needed to establish some ground rules. I'm not used to rooming with others, so let's make this clear. Okay. I need to work on an unfinished report, and I need the desk. It's essential that you stay far on the far side of the room, away from this side. You understand? I got it, but Ruth, can we really discuss what happened earlier by chance? I suppose a little discussion won't hurt before I start working on it. What is it? You're not mad because of the situation, are you? At first I was, because you ruined my mission. But now that I know that you weren't lying about falling out of the sky. Look, I picked this up from the counter. It's about the awakening that the lady had at the registrar. You mentioned it to you. Newspaper. Okay. I had no idea something like this was happening since I wasn't in the city. I didn't know that it was a global issue, but it makes perfect sense given how you've been acting and why you've been so reckless. So you're not mad? No. Because I know your situation now, I'll make a deal with you. I'm listening. Until we figure out why this is happening, and you get acquainted with Aerowyn, I will teach you what you need to know and get you situated. I'll show you around and teach you what you need to know, but the rest is on you. You have to cover your own needs. I only have enough to pay for this room. Until I hear back from my superior. Superior? What the heck? That's a fair deal. I'll take it. Good, because I have no other deals left. I'm going to write my report. Remember what I said. Okay then. Jeez. Oops. I didn't mean to see that. Wow. This place looks so cool. I don't even get to see it yet. Any questions? I mean, do you guys have questions? Because I don't know. There's a mirror right over here. Any questions for you guys? See, I have a million zillion questions that I think I'm gonna need to take a second to gather for a second. Let me gather my questions. I'm gonna have to write them all down. You approach the mirror. At first, you don't pay any attention to it, but then you notice that you didn't look like yourself at all. Sure, you had the same pink hair, though slightly different as you did in your world, and the same green eyes. But the thing that stood out to you the most was your wings. Once white as snow, now tinged with darkness. Oh, hey. So those are my wings. You turn to your side as you look at yourself in the mirror. You notice that as you do, you can somewhat stretch your wing. You turn to your side. As you look at yourself in the mirror, you notice that as you do, you can somewhat stretch your wing. You try to do that, and you see how big your wings really are. You think for a moment back to what happened when you first came here. How you had a brief moment of flight when your wings were what you seemed to be a normal color. You couldn't help but get lost in the thought of flying again. It felt good once you were in the air, and your wings actually caught a glimpse of the wind. It didn't feel great when you lost balance, however, and you landed face first in the crates. Perhaps a little bit more practice. It would be more fun. Maybe, sometime soon, you can fly again. You will get to fly again, right? I hope so. That would be so cool if we could fly, guys. I would love that, to be honest. Okay. I'm going to sleep now. I am sleeping the wrong way. This isn't working. Never mind. I'm going to sit down now. And we're gonna rest against the wall. And hopefully get comfy. Okay. Flying lesson in the city would be super cool. We'll answer your questions to your best of your abilities. My questions are more for Ruth at the moment. He's really freaking... He's a lot to deal with. Sleepy's indeed. If only I could get sleepy. Man, I don't want to sleep. I want to explore. I can't explore. I'm afraid to leave by myself, and I don't think Ruth is up to doing that. I really wish we can change. I really do. Come on, I can't get comfy. This isn't working. Why is it so hard to actually lay down with these wings? The heck? Do you mind? I'm trying to write. Sorry. He's so annoying. I wish my brain would just shut up. I don't want to bother him, but... You know what? Never mind. Hey Ruth, can I ask you something? Do you wake up in a different world too? Sleeping on my side? That might work. No. Chat, do you guys have any questions for this guy? Do you think me falling from the sky is a bad thing? Oops. I'm sorry, it's just this whole new world thing is new for me. How many... Who's your superior? You mentioned you had a superior earlier. Not gonna answer. Okay. Ruth? You there, buddy? Did you fall asleep at your desk? Okay. I don't think you should worry about it. Sometimes things just occur that are out of our hands. Now, if you don't mind... Okay, but one more thing. Thank you for helping me. Seriously. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna be stuck with you for a while, aren't I? Your Grace. I trust this letter finds you in good health. It is with a sense of urgency that I write to update you on a recent development in the ongoing mission that has captivated our attention for quite some time. After months of tireless investigation, I am pleased to report a significant breakthrough in our pursuit of the elusive organization we have been tracking. However, before I report to you my findings, I regret to inform you my mission has come to an unexpected halt, after I've ran into a young woman who claims to say she has fallen from the sky and hasn't a clue of how to survive in
It
this
seems
world.
that she is one of those
For my
fallen
findings-
travelers who claim to be from another world. In challenging times like these, your wisdom and support are invaluable to me, and I remain grateful for your understanding of the complexities inherent in my pursuit. I will ensure that you receive timely updates on my progress, and should circumstances permit, I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss the situation in person when it is appropriate. With the utmost respect, and I hope for better tidings in the future. Yours in service, Ruth V. How peculiar. It seems that Ruth has returned rather sooner than expected. This will be rather intriguing.